What's up, everybody? So here we are, The Connors, Season 3, Episode 1, Keep on Truckin' 6 Feet Apart. I love The Connors. Like, I grew up watching reruns and stuff of Roseanne, the original show. And I love the Connor family, not just the original Roseanne, but the Connor show now because it's super relatable. Super relatable. I totally relate to them, the everyday struggles. A lot of us have been through those struggles, living check to check, don't know how you're going to pay this bill, struggling to pay it, just life hitting you at every turn, every time you try to build yourself up, you get knocked back down. So I totally can relate to this show. And that's what I love about it. And they turn it, they tackle serious things with humor. And that's what makes it even more better. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying. Especially when your life is hard, And I love this premiere even more because they tackle the pandemic. And that's what I love about the show. Another reason why I love the show, because they're not afraid to tackle anything. You know what I mean? They'll tackle it head first, and they'll do it with humor, and they'll shed light on the seriousness of the situation. And I'm glad they talked about the pandemic, and they're incorporating that into their storyline, which I think is pretty great. It was good to see the Connors again. Life is still a struggle for them because now they're facing new problems now with the pandemic. Everybody's just going through it. Dan, I felt bad for Dan because it's like no matter how hard he's tried over the years to provide for his family, it just feels like it's never enough. Every time he busts his ass. And it's crazy because 30 years ago, about 31, 32 years ago when the show premiered, he was doing drywall. And here he is all these years later still doing the same thing, almost 70 years old, and doing the same thing to provide a roof over, his family's head. He should be at that point where he's damn near retired, but unfortunately, he can't retire. Because what is he going to retire to? He ain't got no money to retire on. He ain't got no 401k. He ain't got no savings. The family's just busted, financially. And they've been like that for years, like just broke at every turn. Dan's just trying to keep his head above water, and then he announced to everybody that Wellman Plastics is basically doing a hiring spree due to the pandemic and stuff, which reminds me so much of what Amazon has been doing. Amazon, they've been hiring like crazy, still hiring like crazy. But of course, working at Wellman Plastics, you ain't gonna get what people get at Amazon. Let's just put that out there. You're not getting paid the same. And when he mentioned that Wellman was going on a hiring spree, it was super dope how they had Jackie reminiscing about her time with Roseanne at Wellman and when she dated Booker, who Booker, who was played by George Clooney. And I love how they did the flashback to her date with Booker at the bowling alley and stuff from the original Roseanne. I thought that was super dope because this show has such a big history, a rich history. So to be able to use that old footage and talk about it, reminisce, it brings back nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? And it would be dope if George Clooney could make a cameo appearance at some point on the show. I think it would be dope. And Jackie was just reminiscing of how she wished that she would have kept on messing with him for a little while longer. And I love Katie Segal. Is it Segal? You know who I'm talking about, Peggy Bundy from Married with Children. I love me some Katie. I love it. And I'm glad that she's on the show as Louise, Dan's new boo thing. She's a natural fit for this show, I feel. And I think she's doing an amazing job. So basically, Dan got hit with another disaster. So his neighbor or whatever, who was played by Danny Trejo, legendary Danny Trejo, basically played him into giving him a eviction notice. Basically, their house is being foreclosed on. I feel bad for Dan. Like, seriously, it's like every time you turn around, you get hit with some new bullshit. Every time. It's like, damn, like he can't catch a break. He got pretty much the entire family living in his house and, trying to keep a roof over his head, their head, food on the table, and it ain't easy. You know, they're not getting any relief, no government assistance. You know, he's just doing his best to do what he can. And now he's hit with this. So now he got 5 days to get out, or, you know, before the sheriff comes, locks the doors, and they can't get nothing out. So now he got to figure that out. And Louise offered for him to come stay with her. I respect the hell out of Dan even more, because he could have easily just said, yeah, I'll come stay with you. Because you got to think about it. Dan don't have any little kids anymore. All his kids are grown. You know, they're full, able-bodied adults. You know what I'm saying? He don't got to worry about them. He really only got to worry about himself at this point. But that's what I love about Dan, because even though his kids are grown and he doesn't have a legal obligation to his children, he has a moral obligation. You know? And his moral obligation, he felt like it wouldn't be fair and it wouldn't be right for him to go move in with Louise, and his children and grandchildren are going to be put out on the street and they ain't got nowhere to go. He wouldn't feel right. You know, he could have easily just packed his shit up and moved in with her. But he said, no, I'm the patriarch of this family. That's my kids. That's my grandkids. I don't care how old my kids are. He was like, you know, I got to help. You know, I got to provide. You know, I got to figure this out. You know. And I love how Louise is sticking by him. You know, like, Louise ain't wealthy by any means either. But I know, you know, it can be financially, it can be hard on any couple. You know, even though they're not married and they're just dating, it can be hard on anybody when you're dating somebody who's going through all this baggage, all this stuff. You know, it's taxing on the relationship. But I love how she just laughs and she's hanging in there with him. And she's like, yeah, I'm not leaving you. I ain't going nowhere. See, that's a real one right there. And I love Louise. That's a real one. She's down for her dude. You know, she's down for that family. And she's willing to help any way that she can. But like I said, I respect the shit out of Dan for, like, you know, sticking by the family. You know, he could have easily just packed up and said, nah, fuck that, I'm out. You know, but he was like, nah, I got to make sure my kids straight. Got to make sure my grandkids straight. I love that. I respect that. And it sucks because he's going back to drywalling and all that stuff, and he's doing it by himself. And when Jackie pulled up on him to do deliveries, you know, to deliver the food or whatever, even she was like, you know, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, at your age, you can fuck around, have a heart attack, pass out. And Dan was like, I got to do what I got to do. I got to make money. You know what I'm saying? I got to make money so we can keep our house. I respect that. I really do. That's a man's man right there. And, you know, I love it. You know, it's sad to see it, though. But, you know, when your back is up against the wall, you got to do what you got to do when times are hard. And everybody's just feeling it. You know, it's not just Dan that's feeling the financial burden. Becky, she's feeling it too, because now she ain't got no choice but to go to Wellman Plastics either to get some money to provide for her daughter and herself, because the restaurant, because of the pandemic, can't nobody eat in, you know, so they're losing money. So Jackie had to create a delivery service just to make some money for the restaurant, and keep it open. And they can't afford to hire a delivery person, so Jackie has to do all the deliveries herself on a bike. You know, she don't mind doing it, but I'm like, damn, at her age too, it's a shame to see people at this age, like her and Dan at these older ages, and they still busting their ass just to make some money. Like, that is just sad. You know what I'm saying? They should be enjoying all the years of working, you know, that they did, and enjoy the fruits of their labor. The problem is they ain't got no damn fruit. That's the problem. You know, all these years working, man, it's sad, man. It's sad. Sad to see it, because, and the reason I say it's sad is because you got people in real life that go through this, man. They ain't got no 401k, no retirement, no savings. Like, that's why, being my age, I don't play about having multiple incomes. Like, I have to try and have multiple incomes. I have to go to school and better my education. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be 60 something years old, 70, still working. If I'm working, that's because it's my choice. You know what I'm saying? But at some point I can retire anytime I want. That's the freedom that I want. And it sucks to see that, because I see it all the time in real life too. You know, people 70, 75 still working. That's a damn shame. You know, it's a damn shame, because you want to know what it is when you get to a certain point in your life and you're old enough to collect Social Security. The problem with Social Security is it ain't enough. The money just ain't enough. It ain't enough for you to feel secure on, and the damn sure ain't enough for you to get social on. That's the problem with Social Security, you know. It just ain't enough to live. You know, and it sucks to see Jackie and Dan just busting their ass at this age, you know, to make ends meet still after all these years of working hard. So yeah, Jackie got to do all these deliveries, and Becky can't get a salary at the restaurant, so she has to work at Wellman Plastics now. And Emilio, he got to hide out from ICE, you know, because he's on the run, so he got to hide out from immigration. I see, this is why I love about this, because the Connors is tackling so many serious situations all in one storyline, all in one episode. ICE, you know, the pandemic, no bailout money, no relief money from the government. You know, they're tackling all of this right now, and I love it. And they're doing it with humor, which makes it even better. So Becky, I mean, you know, Becky's feeling it. Now Darlene's feeling it, the financial burden, because she just basically felt like, you know, her and Ben and Becky, you know, they're all able-bodied people, and they should be able to help out with the rent, at least, you know, pay some rent at the house, so that way Dan can pay the mortgage and stuff. But you know, Dan, he's not going to hear of it. You know, he's not going to pressure them to pay no rent. You know, that's just how Dan is. Because he knows that, you know, Darlene got 2 kids to take care of, and Becky got a daughter to take care of. So, you know, he ain't worried about them paying no rent. You know that. Dan is a proud person. He always provided for his family. And he feels like even though they're overgrown, he's still going to provide. You know, he don't want no rent from them. And Ben and Darlene feeling the financial burden too, because now Ben's magazine is basically gone broke. He got to shut the magazine down now. Because advertisers, you know, people ain't spending no money because of the pandemic right now. So advertisers ain't really making no money. So the magazine industry is struggling. But in my opinion, the last few years, the magazine industry has been struggling because they're more online, you know. But even that is still struggling due to advertisement. So this pandemic is just messing up everybody's money. And I felt bad for Ben because, you know, running that magazine was always his dream, and that he got to shut that down and figure things out. And I feel horrible for Darlene because for the past 20 some odd years, you know, she's been wanting to do, you know, have a writing career and stuff like that. And she just feels like her writing career has hit multiple walls in the past 25 years. And she just feels like she needs to give up. Because when her and Becky went to Wellman to go get a job there, and I love the fact that Becky was wearing Roseanne's old Wellman shirt, her old uniform shirt. I love that. You know, basically both Becky and Darlene feel like losers. Like Darlene especially, because she feels like they should be in a better place in their life right now, and they shouldn't have to do the same shit that, you know, they shouldn't have to struggle like their parents struggled before them. They, you know, feel like they should have done better than their parents. I'm like, you know, a lot of people think that. Even parents feel like their kids, you know, they want their kids to do better than they did. But the thing about life is, and being an adult, when we're kids, like when we're 13 or we're teenagers, and we think about when we become adults, we think, oh, by this age, I'm going to have this. By that age, I'm going to have that. And then when we get to those ages, we're nowhere near where we should be or where we feel we should be, because that's life. You know what I'm saying? That's life. You can't plan life. You just can't plan your life out to the T, because there's always going to be roadblocks. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be something. That's just what it is. And so I totally related to that conversation Becky and Darlene were having. Totally related to it. You know, it's hard being an adult. And, you know, the funny thing is, when we were kids, our parents made that shit look easy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they made it look easy. And we thought, well, shit, it'd be easy for us. But then when you become an adult, you got to go through the details that your parents didn't share with you, that they didn't show you, that the struggles they had to go through because they made it look easy. So that way you ain't had to see them struggles. But then when you become an adult and you going through those struggles, now you see like, damn, it really wasn't that easy for your parents. And you get a bigger appreciation for what they did to put a roof over your head. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you don't appreciate it when you're younger. But when you're older and you got to do it, oh, you have a newfound respect and appreciation for that. You know what I'm saying? So to see them working, where I feel like Darlene and Becky have turned into the new Jackie and Roseanne in a weird way, you know, just a modern version. To see them working at Wellman and stuff like that was hilarious. It was like, it brought me back to when I watched the original Roseanne, Jackie and Roseanne and Crystal and all them be at Wellman and stuff complaining about the job, and they gotta hit the time card, take the punch card and punch in and stuff like that. Their little time card. That shit brought me back when I seen that. I was like, damn. And while Becky's working at Wellman and stuff, Emilio, he's gonna be watching Lil Beverly and stuff, which I think is pretty dope, because he gotta stay away from the authorities. So he don't get deported. And the crazy thing is, at the end of this episode, with everything going on, they totally forgot it was Mark's birthday. They totally forgot. I was like, oh, y'all done forgot little homie's birthday. Like, that is grimy. He was like, is that my cake in there? They opened that cake, it had like a lizard on top of the cake and all that stuff. And he said, why is there a lizard up there? They was like, because of your nickname. Dan was like, yeah, it was iguana. I was like, yeah, y'all trifling for that. But I understand why they forgot the birthday. I mean, they dealing with real life adult issues right now. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got time to worry about birthdays and all that type of stuff. They got real life stuff. They trying to figure out how they going to keep these bills paid. But I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought this was pretty dope. It's super relatable. Super, super relatable. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. And if you want to see me do, review the whole season of The Conners, let me know. And I will keep reviewing it because I love this show and I think it's dope. Hit the comment section. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Peace.